Nicki Minaj reportedly claims that Jay-Z owes her between $100 to $200 million. That's not a typo, we're talking 9 figures, but it gets darker. According to sources, this isn't just about money, it's about what allegedly happened behind closed doors when Nicki trusted the wrong people with her business. It's about contracts that allegedly disappeared, streaming equity that allegedly vanished. Oh, and a machine that reportedly tried to silence one of the greatest female rappers of all time. We got the receipts, we got the interviews, we got the leaked moments, and by the end of this video, you're gonna see why Nicki has been going off on social media like her life depends on it, because according to her, it does. Let's get into it. To understand what's happening right now, you gotta go back to 2015. That's when Jay-Z launched Tidal, the streaming service that was supposed to revolutionize the music industry. Artist-owned, artist-controlled, fair payment for everyone. That was the promise. And Nicki Minaj was one of the first artists to sign on. She believed in the vision, she put her name on it, she promoted it, and according to reports, she was promised equity in the company, real ownership, not just a paycheck, but a piece of the pie. At the time, it made sense. Nicki was at the peak of her career. The Pink Print had just dropped. She was dominating radio. She was the biggest female rapper in the world. And Jay-Z was positioned as the mogul who wanted to change the game for artists. So when he came to Nicki with the Tidal opportunity, she reportedly saw it as a partnership, a chance to build generational wealth, a chance to own something instead of just being owned by the system. But here's where it gets complicated. According to industry insiders, Nicki wasn't the only artist who got promised equity. Rihanna, Beyonce, Kanye, Madonna, Daft Punk, all the big names who stood on that stage during the Tidal launch were reportedly told they'd have ownership stakes. But as the years went by, something strange started happening. As some of those artists never saw the equity they were promised. Some of them never saw the contracts they signed get honored. And some of them, like Nicki, reportedly started asking questions. Fast forward to 2021, Jay-Z sells Tidal to Square, which is now called Block, for reportedly $300 million. That's a massive payday. But according to Nicki, she never got her cut. The equity she was allegedly promised? Gone. The ownership stake she was told she'd have? Vanished. And when she started asking for answers, she reportedly got stonewalled by Roc Nation, Jay-Z's management company. This is why this story matters, because if what Nicki is saying is true, it means one of the most powerful men in hip-hop allegedly used his influence to take advantage of artists who trusted him. It means contracts were allegedly manipulated, it means promises were allegedly broken, and it means Nicki Minaj, one of the most successful artists of the last decade, got played. But it doesn't stop there, because according to sources, the issues between Nicki and Jay-Z go way deeper than just Tidal. There's allegedly been a pattern of interference, a pattern of control, a pattern of Jay-Z and Roc Nation reportedly working behind the scenes to limit Nicki's power in the industry, and that's what we're about to break down.
Because then she says more tweets. When Tidal, originally when Jay-Z did the deal with Tidal, it was a partnership. You know, he gave artists some ownership, including J. Cole, Nicki Minaj, Rihanna. And then when he sold the company back in 2021, Nicki Minaj had always said that she felt like she wasn't paid out what she should have been paid out. She was only offered $1 million at the time. And she went on with a bunch of other tweets as well too. She talked about, you know, once she gets the money from Jay-Z that he allegedly owes her, she's going to, you know, start a college fund for her fans. She is talking about, you know, being shadow banned and hated on online again. She says, if you get a message to post hate or lies today on any platform, I advise you to say no. They won't cover your legal fees. Just today alone, we've added 5 blogs and 5 content creators. I hope you got a lot of money saved up. I hope it's worth losing everything, including your account, because Nicki Minaj has been on X saying that.
Let's start from the beginning. 2015. Tidal launches with all these megastars on stage. Nicki's there. She's smiling. She's standing next to Jay-Z, Beyonce, Rihanna. The message is clear. This is for the artists. This is gonna change the game. And according to reports, Nicki was told she'd get equity in the company. Real ownership, not just a percentage of streams, but actual shares in Tidal itself. But here's the thing. Nobody outside of that inner circle knows exactly what those contracts said. And that's by design. Because according to industry insiders, Jay-Z's team allegedly kept everything under tight wraps, non-disclosure agreements, private deals, no public transparency, and for a couple years, everything seemed fine. Tidal was growing, artists were releasing exclusive content, and Nicki was still promoting the platform. But then cracks started to show. By 2017, some artists were reportedly starting to question whether they actually owned what they were promised. There were rumors that the equity deals weren't real, that the contracts had loopholes, that Jay-Z's team was allegedly stalling whenever artists asked for documentation, and Nicki, being the smart businesswoman she is, reportedly started asking questions too. Around this same time, Nicki's relationship with Roc Nation started to get complicated. Now, for those who don't know, Roc Nation is Jay-Z's management and entertainment company. They manage some of the biggest artists in the world, and at one point, Nicki was reportedly in talks to sign with them, but according to sources, those talks never went anywhere. And some people believe it's because Nicki was asking too many questions about Tidal. Here's where it gets messy. According to reports, Jay-Z and his team allegedly started to see Nicki as a problem. She was too independent. She was too vocal. She wasn't willing to just go along with whatever they told her. And in the music industry, that makes you a target because the people in power don't want artists to ask questions. They want artists to stay quiet and do what they're told. And that's allegedly when things started to shift. Sources say that Roc Nation started working behind the scenes to limit Nicki's opportunities. Radio spins allegedly got pulled. Playlist placements allegedly got blocked. And whenever Nicki released music, there were always these mysterious issues with distribution and promotion. Now, Nicki has been vocal about this for years. She's talked about industry gatekeepers. She's talked about people trying to sabotage her. And if you connect the dots, a lot of those accusations point back to Roc Nation and Jay-Z. 2021. This is the year everything blows up because in March of that year, Jay-Z sells Tidal to Square for $300 million. That's a huge deal. And when the news broke, a lot of people started asking, what about all those artists who were promised equity? What about the people who helped build Tidal in the first place? And according to Nicki, she asked the same questions, but reportedly she got no answers. She reached out to Jay-Z's team, she reached out to Roc Nation, and allegedly they ghosted her. No response, no explanation, just silence. And that's when Nicki realized something allegedly happened. The equity she was promised, it never existed, or if it did, it was allegedly taken away without her knowledge. Now here's what makes this so sinister. If what Nicki is saying is true, it means Jay-Z allegedly used her name and her star power to build Tidal and then cut her out when it was time to cash in. That's not just bad business, that's allegedly fraud. And if Nicki can prove it, Jay-Z could be in serious legal trouble. But here's the problem. According to sources, all the contracts and documents related to Tidal are allegedly locked up tight. Non-disclosure agreements prevent artists from talking about the details. And Jay-Z's legal team is reportedly one of the best in the business. So even if Nicki wanted to sue, it would be an uphill battle. And that's allegedly by design, because the system is set up to protect the people in power, not the artists. Nicki had had enough. She started going off on social media, Twitter, Instagram Live, Spaces. She was calling out Jay-Z. She was calling out Roc Nation. She was calling out the entire industry machine that allegedly tried to silence her. And the more she spoke, the more details came out. She talked about how Jay-Z allegedly blocked her from certain opportunities. She talked about how Roc Nation allegedly manipulated streaming numbers to favor their own artists. She talked about how the industry allegedly has a secret system to control who gets promoted and who gets buried. And a lot of people in the industry know she's telling the truth, but they're too scared to say anything. Because here's the thing, Jay-Z isn't just a rapper. He's not just a businessman. He's allegedly one of the most powerful gatekeepers in the entire music industry. He has connections everywhere. Record labels, streaming platforms, radio stations, media outlets, and according to sources, if you cross Jay-Z, you get blackballed. Your career gets destroyed. Your opportunities disappear. And that's allegedly what happened to Nicki. But Nicki's not backing down. She's been relentless. She's been exposing receipts. She's been calling out names. And she's been making it clear that she's not gonna let this go until she gets what she's owed. And that allegedly has Jay-Z's team nervous. Because the more Nicki talks, the more people start asking questions. And the more people ask questions, the more the truth allegedly comes out. So let's talk about the money. And Nicki claims Jay-Z owes her between $100 to $200 million. Where does that number come from? Well, according to sources, it's based on what her equity stake in Tidal should have been worth when the company was sold. If she owned even a small percentage, say 5 to 10%, that could easily be worth over $100 million when Tidal sold for $300 million. But here's where it gets complicated. According to insiders, Nicki was allegedly never given official documentation of her equity. She was allegedly told verbally that she'd have ownership, but when it came came time to collect, there was allegedly no paper trail, no contracts, no proof. And that's allegedly how Jay-Z's team got away with it, because without documentation, Nicki can't prove she was owed anything. But Nicki's not stupid. She reportedly has receipts, emails, text messages, witnesses who were in the room when these deals were allegedly made. And according to sources close to her, she's been building a case. Whether that case ever sees the inside of a courtroom is another question. But the fact that she's willing to go public with these allegations tells you she's serious.
In high school and thinking no one knows you exist. Nicki would go on to collaborate with Jay-Z on the Kanye West song Monster, where her show-stopping feature verse was ranked by Complex magazine as the best rap verse in a 5-year period. Jay-Z even brought her out to perform Monster at Yankee Stadium, making Nicki Minaj the first female rapper to ever hit the stage there. Nicki continued to skyrocket through the industry, becoming the top-selling female rapper in history. As Nicki grew in stature, she and Jay-Z began to link up and do even more lucrative business together. In 2015, Jay-Z launched his very own streaming platform called Tidal, a competitor to Spotify and Apple Music. Jay's pitch for Tidal is that it would be far more artist-friendly, paying a higher share of streaming revenue than its big-name competitors. In fact, to this day, Tidal pays out way more money per stream than any other DSP. But at the time, Jay-Z needed serious star power to compete with a major corporation like Spotify. And in order to do that, he called in a favor from Nicki Minaj.
But the Tidal situation isn't the only thing Nicki's been talking about. She's also been alleging that Roc Nation has been manipulating streaming numbers to hurt her career. According to Nicki, whenever she drops music, there are always issues. Streams allegedly get suppressed, playlists allegedly get pulled, and radio stations allegedly get told not to play her songs. Now, is there proof of this? Not publicly, but industry insiders have been saying for years that the major labels and management companies have backdoor deals with streaming platforms. They allegedly pay for playlist placements, they allegedly manipulate algorithms, and they allegedly control which artists get promoted and which artists get buried. And according to Nicki, Roc Nation is one of the main players in this game, and it makes sense. Because Jay-Z has deep connections with all the major streaming platforms. He was literally running Tidal. He has relationships with Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. So if he allegedly wanted to suppress Nicki's music, he could allegedly do it. And according to sources, that's exactly what happened. Especially after Nicki started speaking out about the Tidal situation. Because the more she talked, the more allegedly her opportunities got limited. And then there's the alleged silencing tactics. According to Nicki, Roc Nation has allegedly tried to silence her fans, known as the Barbs. She claims that social media platforms have allegedly been instructed to suppress posts from her fan base. Hashtags allegedly get shadow banned, accounts allegedly get suspended, and whenever the Barbs start trending something pro-Nicki, it allegedly disappears from the trending page. Now, again, this is hard to prove, but if you pay attention to social media, you'll notice that Nicki's fan base is one of the most active on the internet. They're constantly trending, they're constantly supporting her, but for some reason, the algorithms allegedly don't reflect that, and Nicki believes that's by design, because if you can't control the artist, you allegedly control the fan base. You allegedly limit their reach. You allegedly make it harder for them to mobilize. And that's allegedly what Roc Nation has been doing to Nicki. And just when you thought it couldn't get messier, we have the 2026 Grammy situation. At this year's Grammys, host Trevor Noah made a joke about Nicki Minaj and her political affiliations. The crowd laughed, the internet reacted, and Nicki went nuclear. She responded on social media, calling out not just Trevor Noah, but also Jay-Z, claiming he allegedly had a hand in setting up that moment to embarrass her publicly. According to Nicki, the joke wasn't random. It was allegedly orchestrated because Jay-Z reportedly has deep ties to the Grammy organization, and allegedly he uses those connections to control narratives, to punish artists who don't fall in line, and to allegedly send messages. And that Grammy moment was allegedly a message to Nicki. Stay quiet, or we'll allegedly keep coming for you. But Nicki's response made it clear she's not backing down. She doubled down on her allegations. She brought up old names, old controversies, and she allegedly made it clear that if Jay-Z wants a war, she's ready to give him one.
War zone. After she saw that clip, she went straight to Twitter and wrote the caption, "Trevor refuses to come out the closet when everybody in the industry knows his boyfriend." Allegedly. Then she went in apocalypto mode and decided to go off on the whole industry. especially Jay-Z. She started saying he was a child predator. She started saying that the gatekeepers of the industry and they demonic and all this political stuff, man. She went and had a field day. She first started off and responded to somebody's question with a Chucky doll and said, true or false. That person said Jay-Z dated Foxy Brown when she was 15 and took her virginity when she was 23. Jay-Z was out with Aaliyah when she was 15, 16, 17, and he was 26. Jay-Z met Beyonce at 16 and started dating her when he was 30. Jay-Z signed Rihanna at 16, as she said in an interview. Nicki Minaj responded to that clip and said, true or false, with a Chucky doll leaning to the side. Then she posted a picture of Jay-Z with her.
So what do other people in the industry think about all this? Well, it's complicated, because a lot of people are scared to speak on it. Jay-Z is too powerful, Rock Nation is too connected, and if you say the wrong thing, you allegedly get blackballed. But there have been some voices who've spoken up. DJ Academics, who's been covering this story closely, has said multiple times that he believes Nicki is telling the truth. He's talked about how the industry has always had a problem with strong, independent female artists. And he's pointed out that Nicki's allegations line up with patterns we've seen before. Artists getting promised deals, artists getting screwed, and the people in power allegedly walking away with all the money. Joe Budden on his podcast has also addressed the situation, and while he's been careful with his words, he's admitted that there's allegedly a lot of shady business that goes on behind the scenes. He's talked about how contracts can be manipulated, how verbal promises mean nothing in court, and how artists, especially women, allegedly get taken advantage of all the time. And then there's the fan reaction. The Barbs have been relentless in supporting Nicki. They've been trending hashtags like Free Nicki and Jay-Z owes Nicki. They've been digging up old interviews and clips that allegedly support Nicki's claims. And they've been making it clear that they're not gonna let this story die. Because for them, this isn't just about Nicki. It's about holding powerful men allegedly accountable for the way they treat artists. On the other side, Jay-Z's fans have been defending him. They say Nicki's just bitter. That she's making things up for attention, that she's lost relevance and is trying to stay in the headlines. But here's the thing, Nicki doesn't need to make up drama. She's one of the best-selling female rappers of all time. She has nothing to gain from lying about this, and that's what makes her allegations so credible.
It was denied, actually, because the judges said they hadn't proved that he had property inside the $11 million home, which is up for sale. But after obtaining photos proving he did have assets inside the mansion, the judge signed a new order for the authorities to break in. And they did break in, and they seized a bunch of stuff. And I'm guessing that somehow they satisfied that judgment, right? Lil Wayne house seized. I remember watching, this was it.
Now at 11, police have cleared the scene at a Miami Beach mansion. They raided the place this evening with a celebrity's prized possessions as their target. Rapper Lil Wayne owes someone a lot of money and he isn't paying, so police showed up to collect. CBS 4's Carrie Codd has more.
Miami-Dade police descended on the Miami Beach mansion of rapper Lil Wayne Tuesday afternoon. According to police, they were serving a warrant in a civil case to seize property.
So what happens next? Well, there are a few possible scenarios. First, Nicki could take this to court. She could allegedly file a lawsuit against Jay-Z and Rock Nation for breach of contract, fraud, and unpaid equity. If she has the receipts she claims to have, this could turn into one of the biggest legal battles in hip-hop history. And if she wins, it could allegedly open the door for other artists to come forward with similar claims. Second, this could all get settled behind closed doors. Jay-Z's team could allegedly offer Nicki a payout to make this go away. A settlement with a non-disclosure agreement attached. Nicki gets her money. Jay-Z protects his reputation. And the public never knows the full truth. That's how these things usually end, because the people in power don't want their dirty laundry aired in public. Third, but nothing could happen. Nicki could keep talking on social media. The Barbs could keep supporting her. But without legal action, nothing allegedly changes. Jay-Z keeps his empire. Rock Nation keeps operating. And Nicki's allegations allegedly become just another conspiracy theory that people talk about on the internet. But here's what I think is most likely. I think this is gonna get messy before it gets better, because Nicki's not backing down. She's too angry, she's too invested, and she's allegedly got too much to lose if she stays quiet, so she's gonna keep pushing, she's gonna keep exposing, and eventually someone's gonna allegedly crack. Whether that's Jay-Z's team or another artist who's been in a similar situation, something's gonna allegedly give, and when it does, the entire music industry is gonna allegedly have to reckon with the way it treats artists. Because if Nicki's allegations are true, it means the system is allegedly broken. It means the people in power are allegedly corrupt, and it means artists, especially women and especially black women, are allegedly being exploited in ways we don't even fully understand yet. This could also allegedly set a precedent. If Nicki wins, or even if she just gets the truth out there, other artists might allegedly start speaking up. Artists who've been screwed by bad contracts. Artists who've been blackballed for asking questions. Artists who've been told to stay quiet or else. And that could allegedly lead to real change. Not just in hip-hop, but in the entire music industry. But it's also dangerous. Because the people Nicki is going up against allegedly have unlimited resources. They have the best lawyers, they have connections in media, they allegedly have the power to destroy careers, and they've allegedly done it before. So Nicki's taking a huge risk by speaking out, and that's why this story matters, because it's not just about money, it's about power, it's about control, and it's about whether or not artists allegedly have the right to stand up for themselves without getting destroyed. Alright, so that's the story. Nicki Minaj versus Jay-Z. Allegations of stolen equity, manipulation, silencing, and a $200 million question that might never get answered. But we're gonna keep following this, because if there's one thing we know, it's that the truth allegedly always comes out eventually. So what do you think? Do you believe Nicki? Do you think Jay-Z allegedly owes her money? Or do you think this is all just drama? Let me know in the comments, and make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we've got more stories dropping soon. Next up, we're allegedly breaking down the full timeline of the Cardi B and Nicki Minaj beef, and trust me, you don't want to miss that one. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.